Welcome back to SmokeHouse and the History of Cannabis series. Cannabis in the Bronze Age, Part 1. The Bronze Age was about 33,000 BC to about 12,000 BC. So I'll be covering roughly the first half of that, probably about 3,000 BC to about 2,000 BC. Now, in last episode, we were talking about cannabis starting out in China, and really they were the first ones to really start using it. But then also Turkey, we found some evidence in Turkey in about 6,000 BC. Not much really that we can find, at least that I've seen in my research, between the 6,000 BC to about 3,000 BC. Now, please forgive me if I butcher some of these names. I'm trying my best. So in 2900 BC, the Emperor of China, Fu Shi, who is credited with bringing civilization to China, this emperor mentions ma, or cannabis, as a very popular medicine. Now, that's very interesting that he mentions that it's a very popular medicine, because that says to me that it's been around for quite some time, or at least they knew about it. Because how could it be very popular if they didn't know about it for quite some time? And when he's mentioning this as a very popular medicine, he does mention it as a medicine that contains both yin and yang. I just found that really interesting. In 2700 BC, another emperor of China, Chen Nung or Shen Nung, I've seen both names put out there, and I've read that he's also considered the father of medicine in China. I'm not sure if that's true, that's just what I've read. It says that he discovers healing properties of cannabis, also ginseng and ephedra, but we are focusing on the cannabis. Now, he wrote this pamphlet or this book that is called I believe it's the Pinsao. Please let me know if I'm butchering that name. Or the translated name is The Great Herbal. It says that he discovered that it medicated rheumatism, gout, malaria, menstrual problems, and even, ironically, absent-mindedness. And now going on to Egypt. Egypt, the first time we really hear about cannabis is around 2000 BC. However, it does say that it's being used as medication already, so it has been known, or they've known about it for a little bit. I think it was supposed to have migrated around 2000 BC, maybe a little bit before. But apparently the Egyptians, at least in 2000 BC, they were already known to be using cannabis as medication. They used it to medicate things like glaucoma, inflammation, cooling the uterus, and even as a suppository to relieve pain from hemorrhoids. That's all really interesting because most of that is accurate, I believe, and they know about this in 2000 BC. It's just insane to me. Then there is the Everest Papyrus. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It's named after the German Egyptologist who purchased it in Thebes in 1873. Now, this is one of the oldest known medical papyri coming out of Egypt, and it's also one of the most significant. Now, it names quite a few other medications, such as ground corn, a couple other things, but the thing I found interesting is it said that it used ground cannabis mixed with honey, and it was used to insert into the vagina. I'm not sure exactly what they used it for, but that's what it says that it was used for. Now, there's two I'm going to glance over before I end this, and I'm glancing over them because they might touch around 2000 BC and they might not. It's just a wide time frame. So I'll go into them more thoroughly in the next video, but I'm going to go ahead and cover them just a little bit because they might touch the time frame that I'm going to. One is India, specifically the Vedas or the sacred Hindu texts. They are supposed to have dated back. I've seen it say 2000 BC. I've seen it say 12,000 BC. I've seen it say 1400 BC. So I'm just touching on this. But it says that in these sacred texts, they knew about the psychedelic attributes to cannabis, but they also used it medicinally. I'll cover all this from the sacred Hindu texts in the next video. The other one I wanted to touch on was Japan. And I found this really interesting because I found very little on Japan, except for this one guy who started what he called the Cannabis Museum in Japan. His name is Takayasu Junichi, I believe. Please let me know if I butchered that name too. But he states that seeds and hemp fibers have been found on the west side of Japan that date back to the Jomon period, which was between 10,000 BC and 300 BC. So I'm not really sure what dates they're going with, but since China was one of the first places and oldest, it makes sense that Japan would have, received some very early on. So I just wanted to touch on that, but I'll go into Japan also more so into the next video. Now, let's go ahead and review what we've learned. Number 1, in 2900 BC, the Emperor Fu Shi of China was said to have mentioned cannabis as being a very popular medicine. Number 2, in 2700 BC, the Emperor Qianneng or Shenneng of China writes the pamphlet The Great Herbal. He mentions cannabis as being able to medicate rheumatism, menstrual cramps, gout, malaria, and even absent-mindedness. Number 3, in Egypt in 2000 BC, they were using cannabis to medicate things such as glaucoma, inflammation, cooling of the uterus, and even a suppository to alleviate pain from hemorrhoids. Number 4, in the sacred Hindu text, they mention that they know about the psychedelic highs of marijuana. Number 5, Japan has evidence of seeds and hemp fibers at some point in the Bronze Age. Now, if you enjoyed this video at all or you learned anything, please give it a like and a comment and let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button if you want to stay up to date with videos coming out in the future. And now, as always, Jay is going to go smoke a J.